Inde Jemba de Sanjay Boye Rogan Namda Sheba Sho Yedan
Amendala Kami Yata
Yada Tataji de Kasure Garin Jesu Temple gonna saw and Devati, Sitambo Chinchani. That to be in my Tuji Nuji, Quinja maybe draw Mambola. Java Zabanya and Drubai, Jango Tuji Della, so a day say Tandim Bari. To be in my Tuji Nuji, Sirigana, Annie, Yama Tua Ambo, Gungoji Duja, and then Joanne, and then Yangala David Sultan. 양아래도 투비님아 투니 되네 제일라 아니다 가서래 신다시모 누르다 토메라서 와 파유 변주 마본 바 폐어리다 대다기 양 지수문이 봐 아니 니마 류와기 요 아니 가서 아니 알아서 저 투비님아 투지 누르지 Gwenda Jam Mebaki, and then around the Javi Dujan Namlas, and then Javi Zeba to be in my Tujin with Gonjami, draw Mambola, Duja, and then Mambola, Javi Zeba, Yavan Dujabi, said Javi Zeba, Javi Zeba can nine at Chotujuva, Zeba Kuna Sungin, Zeba Choyin, so on Nashi Chani, and then Zeba can nine at Chotujuva, Sungi Zeba. Ani dongaji, ani nyam malibar, ani lombar zebaki, ani katincha, ani lamala, ani soa debate. This was to be near my Tuji Nubjedi, Ganja maybe draw Mambola, Javi Zeba, never do Zebi, Jango Tuji Jana soa deb.
So then now we've arrived at the portion of the requests, the prayers that we're addressing to our Guru. And we've reached the verse where it says that the son of the sage, sun is in the sun in the sky, not sun. Son of the sage has set due to time. That line refers to here. It refers back to Lord Buddha, Buddha Shakyamuni, the sage, who taught the Dharma to those who had at that time. The people who were able to receive Dharma teachings directly from him had a special kind of good fortune. And we, at this moment, didn't have the good fortune to be able to hear the teachings directly from him and actualize the path to enlightenment at that time. And then after that, likewise, there were many great masters who appeared in India, the master Nagarjuna and Sangha, among the other numerous great scholar adepts of India that taught the Dharma. And likewise, we didn't have the good fortune to hear the teachings directly from them and to actualize the path at that particular time. And then, so we're people of that sort that it says in the text here that there are many kinds of beings that didn't have protection and refuge at that, meaning that people of the later degenerate era, such as this present time, we don't, and you're thinking of this and with respect to yourself personally in particular, didn't have the good fortune to be in the presence of beings like the Lord Buddha and the great masters of ancient India. So therefore, for people such as ourselves, the person that is the refuge and the protection. And the verse here says, I beseech the compassionate refuge protector who accomplishes the activities of the Buddhas. or the victorious Buddhas. So there, the primary activity that is among all of the activities that are performed by the victorious Buddhas, the chief among them and one that's most highly praised is their speech. So here then our guru is the source from which we receive that speech. And so in that way, the guru, he or she accomplishes the aims of all the victorious Buddhas.
오야 다 된데 진짜 어딘가 두비님아 뒤진누저 저 권자매배 저와만 볼라 대외자바 냐와 조제배 자 아니 장고 투지잖아 소와데스 다 거든 제수선바 거든 제수선바 라마 산제라 라베 거든 아니 그 질산제라 라바 아니 그 투에 안 볼라 라바 디 아니 최승배 가신 아니 시지 신지라베 거든 상승의 코드도 가진 시와이 말에 시지 친지라베까 최승배 강선도 최승배까지世界极点 이게 창의지 가와를 쳐자 가진 방법이나 용조량산녀와 대전비 가진 되니 강기샤와 니 세가라 世界极点比 아니世界极이 가서 쇼로 같이 땜발라야 아니 가진 앞에 가외 봐도 샤워 메뉴나 아니 동아지 런서 남용조 때문에 가진 대단히 아니 가진 대다 강그 샤워니 세서 좋아져我70가진 아니 가마동도 자야 예가외 아니 자외 담바다 투외 담바다 자와당 자외 我될 가진 대다 아니 투외 담바다 자와당 아니 담바다 자와당 맞아 담비 출라 이제 예바도 강가 아니 신역까지 Yeah.
So then here then this verse is by way of we're making this prayer and fervent request to our guru, and here then primarily the way we're doing it in this verse is by recalling the kindness of the guru in teaching us the dharma. As we said, then the kindness of the guru, there are multiple forms of it, but the speech, especially the teaching of the dharma, is of an inconceivable kindness to us. And the examples that are given for this are, if you hear even a single verse from a single shloka or verse of teaching from your virtuous friend, then that kindness that you've received, even a single verse, is in a sense more has been more beneficial to you and more kind than if you had encountered all of the Buddhas that appear within 1,000 Buddhas that appear within a great eon, or from whom you didn't receive teachings on the Dharma, or again, kalpa gyada ki sangila jena sikche chik.
엄마들이世界极点 이기 창의지 가월 처자 까진 명거나世界 최치수 제박이 이기 장 제박된 박이 최치수 제박이 이게 되게 장난이야 박이 가월 아니 처장 까진 게 먹어놨어 아니 당하 용수 저와 땜박이 까진데 아니 가만히 샤투 그래 했어야지 말이야.
I was confused about that verse. What it is saying there is that if you the kindness that you receive from your virtuous friend who teaches you the Dharma, if you take even a single verse that they have taught to you, then these verses in India, one of the standard verse forms was the shloka, which contains 32 syllables. So each of those syllables, if you the individual syllable that you got in the course of that verse, and if you then multiply that by eons of time, that is, if you worshipped Buddhas, all of the Buddhas throughout the 10 directions, and for as many eons as there are syllables within a single verse, then the amount of benefit or kindness that you would receive the merit that you would receive also is greater for having listened to that single verse than it would be from if you had done that much worship or offerings to Buddhas for that the eons of time, the 32 great eons.
Yeah, that is the 뒤숨수지 자와 탐제라 관계법이 부가지잖아. 다시 손놈 신도 량하게 아니 장고 투지잖아. 소와제 아니 뒤숨지 산제 탐제 쳐발래 아니 로병 부비 가서 부가 쳐봐. 뒤숨지 자와 탐제 관계법이 부가지잖아. 아니 안자나기 아니 손놈 그 신도 아니 쳐봐도 파봐 인자 표별관에 아니 소화되버지.
So then, if we think of how much merit one gets from that many eons of practicing worship of all the Buddhas, we get more merit from just hearing a single shloka, one verse from our teacher. Then, what needs to be said of a master who teaches us the entirety of all of the sutras and tantras, the entirety of the teaching of the Buddha? Then the next line says a single hair follicle of our master is praised as the field of merit for ourselves, and that is the single hair follicle of the guru or virtuous friend is more highly praised than as being a superior field of merit than all of the Buddhas of the victorious Buddhas of the 10 times, the 3 times in the 10 directions. And so I make a fervent request. I pray to the refuge protector who is greatly compassionate.
Oh yeah, that's my 제가 안에 제제테마 안에 가서래 치연된 줘봐거네. 안에 난구연된 줘봐. 안에 상위연된 줘봐. 안에 태권한 연된 줘봐. 전에 다 송고야 이 말이. 나더니 치연된 줘봐들라. 안에 대시 구슴 전주 콜로니. 타가 주주 차외 조개라. 타마 주지 좋아 전제비 장고 투시들라 소와데 세디 치연된 줘봐. 아니 대기 가능성 거래에서 나다 초지 산제 탐제지 아니 두발 문제비 아니 알아서 저기 두자 남라 아니 가서래 탐합이 추지 랑다 아니 가와냐 바기 아니 탐합이 추지 아니 남바 땡데 아니 다자 남라 가서래 라라 그 가와다 참비고네 아니 최된비고네 아니 두어 장게들라 이장 대시 구슴 전주 콜로니 타가 주주 자외 조개라 타마 추지 세양랑기 어랑당 참바 아니 타마위 나바 때네 아니 강라 강도지 거바 땡비고네 아니 가소래 최된비 되바 자바 인상 시견된 저바스 아니 대시 구슴 gen지 콜로세가 가는 대시 구슴 gen세다 되는지 말이야. 지당 아니 통마 상제외 채널 온 가서를 상제외 채널 아니 구슴 직자도 온도 제바 구슴 직자도 농구 주고 아니 초구슴 보대 아니 구슴 직자도 온도 제바 인장 아니 대시 구슴 gen세야 가르쳐 고거래서나 아니 되게 천재라 아니 구도정 이거 순도정 이거 아니 투도정 이거 홍 아니 가서 지워 네 숨도 아니 도지숨지 gem바인바나 대시 구슴gen지 콜로세 디 말이 대시 구슴gen지 콜로세 어디니 대시 구슴gen지 콜로네 가서 대시 구슴gen지 콜로네 타마투지 대시 gen지 콜로네 타마투지 좋아 대자바 자고 투시 때는 소와데 스타두스 말이야 다시 취소아
탑킥
타마투지 타마외 수지
탑킥 유럴
탑가 주주 차이 저거래서 탑라 케어바기 랑랑게 가와타 참바기 아니 최단 받아라.
So then the next verse and the next set of verses are ways of making requests and praying to one's precious guru by way of thinking about their good qualities. There are the outer good qualities, the inner good qualities, and secret good qualities, as well as the good qualities of their reality. And so this first verse deals with, addresses the outer good qualities, and it says that the wheel of the ornament of the three bodies of the Tathagatas, the Sugatas. Sugata is another epithet of Buddhas, like Tathagata. So the ornament, the wheel, which is the ornament of the three bodies of the Sugatas. Here, this is referring to when someone achieves perfect Buddhahood, they actualize the three kayas simultaneously. That is the Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya. And here then also one can understand this ornament of those three kayas in terms of the Om, Ah, Hung, those three letters which are at the forehead, the white Om, the red Ah, and the dark blue Hung at the heart of the Guru. And so those represent also the body, speech, and mind of the Buddhas. And then, the last line of the verse says, I make fervent requests. I pray to my refuge protector, the most compassionate one, who leads living beings or migrating beings using an ordinary visage. That is, the Guru appears in an ordinary visage, appears to be an ordinary being in accordance with one's own one's own fortune. That is, our fortune is such that we have the good fortune to encounter gurus, but the fortune is such that we do that. The only way the gurus can appear to us when we're in a state of extreme confusion, obscuration, and so forth, is by adopting a ordinary sort of mode of appearance. They appear in this ordinary way. And that ordinary way of appearing arises from the charming array, the charming illusory array of their skill and method. So one makes fervent requests to the Kyabgun Tuji Chingla. So that one makes fervent praise to request to the refuge protector.
그래서 오야 다들 서로 지대체 대시 구심전지 콜로니 타가 주주 자유 저거래 타마수지 저와 전세 봐세 대시 구심전세의 대시 다티 치연대 제도관의 소환대바의 차네 다 지난 들라 자당 마보요를 거기 측도 야마자 마보요 있어요 다 대제라 난그 연대 제도관의 아니 소환대바들라 취지 풍감 제제 야라남 대시령아 야유산바다 초요 안별하신 초스미지 단위 라마 초라 소화대세가 다 가상 예게 초신기 아니 라마 통한 도시가 꿀라 아니 류지지라 숨지 소녀 거나신 세가나 아니 취지 풍감 제제 아니 취지 풍감 제제 야라남 풍봉한 대화 셔봐 아니 제제나 자주 쌤봐 감남 아니 юм시다 도시 망아 어디니 저기 봉안제잖아 대시링아 여윤 셈바당 아니 야라나 초 신시절라 소리 초공호인장 아니 저기 봉안제제 야라나 대시링아 여윤 셈바당 초의 안비 라시 초숨지 아니 다니라마 사소천 소화대 세가나 아니 산제당 링아 산제당 아니 찬수세바제당 아니 아니 사람하고 군주군주 제세가다 초디 초섬 두시아이가나 봉감 제제야나 나 대시령아야 주요 안별아시 초섬지 단위 라마초라 소한테 군조섬지 단위 그 라마초라 네 저와 달라미고 근데 라미 송체 라미 투아 산제 두시아나 되거와
So then the next verse, there are many ways one can explain these verses. There are different ways of unpacking what's in the verses. So we're just going to do a sort of overview or one way of doing it kind of briefly. So then the next verse says, I make fervent requests to the Supreme Guru who consists of the three supreme beings. Three supreme beings is referring to the three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And so the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So the Sangha is represented by the body of the Guru, and then the Dharma is represented by the speech of the Guru, and the mind represents the Buddha, the Buddha of the Guru, and so those three are correlated in that way. So then it also says, your aggregates, your constituents, your sensory fields, your limbs are the five Tathagatas. Here it says Sugatas, but one can also say five Tathagatas, the five Buddhas of the five families, of the five lineages of five families. And then it says also the mother and father forms of the deities. This is referring back to what we discussed previously, where we described the body mandala of Goya Samaja as it's located within the Samaya Sattva, the pledge being that one visualizes at the center of the assembly field, within the field of the assembly field. So it says that your aggregates are the five Tathagatas, and your constituents are the bodhisattvas, the various bodhisattvas, and then your sensory fields are the kyuki punkam kichi yanla.
대시링아 시가나 아니 남나라 서베링아 야유미시가나 아니 유미시 자마라서 유미시다 도저망아 아니 선바게 좋아
선바게
아니 초초
So the correlation is between the aggregates and the Tathagatas, and then the cognitive spheres and the bodhisattvas, and then the limbs of the Guru are they're called Krodha Rajas, wrathful beings, wrathful protector beings. So you have that as your nature, and so then one is making that kind of request to the Supreme Guru, who consists of all of those beings, all of those beings.
됐어.
대시리가 야빔 선바당 주로원 보라신 촉송기.
됐어. 야. 다 되게 남구 연대 제벽권에 쏘았다와 대체. 다 대제나 사회 연대 제벽권에 상황돼 봐라. 군제 이시로와 내춤이 중국으로 제외 단위지. 안에 이제 잡다 도지 준비해서 수지 탐벽권에 쏘아 대세야 다 뒤에 말이. 군제 이시로와 내춤아 세대 아니 가르쳐 오래서나 디 신도 차위 룽당 아니 대기 아니 텔레 대기 가서 타주던 바 여사당 여사 준비 룽텔야 대니를 쓰고 와라 군제 이시로와 내춤에 세대 군제 이시로와서 가서 디 그르르 붙인 게 송지라 떠바지라 손진 체다 누구 출신이 남다 여사 사이에 남원신 라고 다시 제외 취비고 순주 담비고 세니 순주 가라 가르에서나 신도 차위 손진기 농당 신도 차위 안에 셈 실로 잡에 셈 여사가 셈대당 뒤에 신비 롱 안에 성등기 어다 테니그라 중화 성등 출신 성진 체다 누부 출신이 세그 누부 출신다 남다 여사사에 남는 왕신 세가라 텐라위 롱기 아니 예련당 안에 셈지 현지 체제 체와라 중화 인자 군지 이시로와 내종이 세라 군자 이시로와 내 중국 콜로 체외 단위 자하선 안에 중국지 콜로 안에 체와게 다보 안에 순주 담배 공부 세일가나 안에 달라디 다 지라자 자소나 순주 담배 공부서나 오미 신도 토마 안에 산재주 공방원도 제와가나 lonje 조비고 오면 또 비고 당보 오면 또 비고 또 엄바 조바 산재비 아니 수된 거 여인장 안에 순주 담배 공부 세대 대선 거인 바래 그러와 다디 마자 누스가서 가서 군자 이시로와 내송이 중국 콜로 체외 단위제 아니 중국 가래 군자 이시로와 내송 중국 콜로 체외 단위 리제 찹다 아니 리자기 찹다 저 리자기 찹다 저 안에 순주 담배 거라서 하나 소화돼 전에 두세만 그래서 한번대하고 고소 군전 이시로와 세대 군전대 아니 탐자 동바 여사 다 이야기야 있잖아 제대로 자가 아니 가소래 여사기 제대로 그 여사다 티신비弄来 주면다 담보 산재 lonje 조고 담보 온도 사고 체계 아니 듯이 아니 여사당 아니 여사가 신비 논이 여러와 들으셔 그래.
So here then the next verse is the inner good qualities of the guru and the secret good qualities of the guru. Here then this is explained in the next verse where it says that the tens of millions of mandala circles that arise from the play of omniscient gnosis. Here, those lines, and then I make fervent requests to the primordial protector, who is of integration, who is the chief of those who hold the Vajra, and who is the overlord of the 100 families. And so here this is addressing the guru, the secret form of the guru, as the consisting of and the lord of the tens of millions of mandala chakras, the wheels of the mandalas that arise from the sport of omniscient gnosis. And that here, where in the last line where it says the primordial protector, Adinata, the primordial protector, or who is integration. The integration, here Adinata, or the primordial protector, refers to the when a Buddha actualizes Buddhahood, the initial form of the Sambhogakaya appears in Akanishta, that Pure Land, and that Sambhogakaya is the manifestation of the integration then of the two elements that serve as the basic cause for that actualization of a perfect awakening. That is, there's the extremely subtle wind, which serves as the vehicle upon which the extremely subtle mind rides. So this is in reference then to likewise in terms of the completion stage yogas, where one actualizes the entirely of the luminosity, which is given the name of total void. In that point in the completion process, then one has produced this form of the extremely subtle wind as the sort of primary material cause, and then the cooperative cause that operates in conjunction with it is the extremely subtle mind, which is mounted upon it or operates upon it. And those two together function as the integration of those two functions as the basic cause which gives rise to the Sambhogakaya, which is actualized in Akanishta then. So this verse is addressing that. And it says then, so from the sport of that omniscient gnosis, the tens of millions of circles of the mandala arise. And so then the guru is the chief among the holders of the Vajra, is the overlord of the 100 families as well.
Oh yeah, that did. 군제 이시 로와 내춤이 중국 콜로 제외단이 리지 찾아서 다에 다시 자야 되라. 신도 차위 안에 가서를 신비 농대당 뒤 셈라데 회사가 배회사가 셈당 뒤 신비 농라 때네 안에 마다베 들고 주배. 아니 가서래 되네 뒤 제라 아니 마다베 들고 뒤 제라 아니 신도 차위 사매길 농당 아니 전주회사길래 아니 답을 주고면 주면 주배 다야 대들에 저희가 로타이 대사 사태기 신비 농당 아니 로타이 전주회사 대기 아니 셈디 텔레 아니 순주 담배 공부 런치做过제都现在到在国内有啥
로페 숭죽.
로페 숭죽. 로페 숭죽. 그래도 두시대 담보만이야. 제가 좀 봐. 진짜 담보 마다 비줄이 주배. 저와 대제라 답이 줄이당 안에다 로페 숭죽 주배. 되네야 제가 로와타여서 그 셈대당 뒤 신비弄了 때네 안에 런치 접고 So the
way this is explained then, as far as the primordial protector or primordial protector is concerned, the adinata is that here then during the the beginning part of actualization of this, when this is all part of the completion stage practices, where one initially develops the impure form, unpurified form of the illusory body. That impure or unpurified form of the illusory body is actualized through the integration of the this wind again, which is the wind which bears our vitality, the vitality which causes the body to function in physical operations in the body, and then also is the vehicle upon which that luminosity is mounted. And so when those two are generated during that phase of the completion process, then the unpurified form of the wind, that wind is still associated with contamination. So therefore, that's why it's called unpurified at that point. And the luminosity mind that is mounted upon it is, those two cooperate together with, again, the wind functioning as the material cause and the mind of the luminosity mind as the cooperative cause. The metaphorical clear light here is what is indicated when one is developing the unpurified form of the illusory body. So those two together then produce that unpurified form of the illusory body, and then as one practices further and develops further along in the completion stage kind of practice, Then the actual luminosity is produced, and that together with a purified form of the wind, which is its vehicle or upon which it is mounted, those two are cooperating together with, again, the wind, this vitality wind functioning as the material cause, and the luminosity itself, in this case, the actual luminosity, as we mentioned previously, the two types, the metaphorical and actual luminosity, understanding emptiness directly through the actual luminosity. And then, so those two together cooperate to form the purified form of the illusory body. And that then, again, this is still on the stage of training. They're both called integration, in that you've integrated the wind and the mind together so as to produce these illusory bodies. But eventually, once one has continued in the path long enough, then one actualizes eventually actualizes the Sambhogakaya again in Akanishta, when one achieves enlightenment, and that is the outcome of the process of training oneself through the completion stage practices, and then when one reaches the stage of no more learning, no more training, then that, which is tantamount or equivalent to Buddhahood, then those illusory bodies, in effect, the purified form of the illusory body is transformed into the Sambhogakaya.
Oh, yeah. That is because 군전이 시로와 그래죠. 중국 콜로 제가 다니지. 리제 찹다 세가라 찹다 아니 도제창. 리라 아니 리자. 대이링아. 아니 상화리숨 상예 리직 전에 두세 제요아리. 그봐. 어디 두세 인데 되네 리제 찹다데 도제창 전에 가라. 나 자가 먹었지야. 이제 순주도 이제 저라 순주도 몇 권나 써와 대비시. 되게 안에 상위 연대 주변권에 안에 가서래 또 써와 대바대 체. 그와 다 되어라 가르서. 군전이 시로와 내주고 중국 콜레지 왔더니 리지차다도 순주도 몇 권나 금일 현재 가외 로와탕 에메 대요 군지다. 토마타다 군산 전담지 장주 성무 제라 써와 대비세야 돼. 다 대인발에 가서를 태권한 이제 내 집보고는 아니 소화 대바지 말이 그럼 다들 가르쳐래 달래 대 군제 시로 와래죠 중국 콜로리 순주 담배거나 주면 현재 가위 로와탕 저와매 봐 현재지 가위 로와서나 현재지 대회 태권한 영무순도 도비 시대라 송거래 가서래 인한 추유 군도 인선수 누 인한 추유 군도 인선수 스비코도 농기 교화제 소하나시 전에 그래서 난 대체 취직구라 소화대 소화제 인한 추유 군도 인수제 인한 추유 가서 나와 인한 추유 군도 나와 인수 다진도 줘서 더 맞서대요 이나저거 군도 이선 시비콜라 농기 좋아제 세대 가르친 거래서나 다 회사기 셈데 아니 친도 체별론데 이난기 누베기 아니 돈용무슨도 더 배텐지 회사기 이시 와 아니 제가 대공발라 때는 아니 가서 시비콜로 농기 좋아제 세가나 대돈이 좀 비 시비콜로 공발라 때는 아니 니나 저거 좋아제 다 간제송거래에서나 파진디비 누라 당신 코비 자와체 당신 코비 자와체 제바인 발라 당신 제발라 아니 다음에 베테 마도나 코리 저 코비 제와체 미저 바라 다음에 곰발라 때네 아니 코비 제와터네 타바타바디 용거와 디 투모비 내가서 아니 당신 코비 자와체 다 투모 망가지 내가라서나 아니 코비 자와데 가르샤고 그래서나 아니 이나 주와지자고 그래.
So then that briefly covers that verse. So that's as far as the secret dimension of the guru, and one makes fervent requests to this primordial protector who is the integrated being and chief among those who hold the Vajra, who is the overlord of the 100 families. The overlord of the 100 families refers to the ways in which the families of the Tathagatas are subdivided into different categories, and there's the 5 or 6, and there are different ways of doing this kind of subdivision and enumeration of the 100 families. We'll not go into all the detail of that here. And so then the next verse refers to the reality dimension of the Guru. And here then one is making a fervent request to hear you, the Guru, who is the actual ultimate bodhicitta, which is entirely good and free from beginning and end, which is free from obscuration, which is the sport of connate joy, and that is indivisible, and which is the Lord that pervades the entirety of all stable and moving things, the environment as well as the beings that inhabit the environment. And so with respect to the first line of this, where it says connate joy, the sport of connate, which is without obscuration. So this again is referring to the
Sibi kolo lungu juwa che se kana tela tene ane sibo kowa ki ane jeje ki jude chepa sibi ko sibi kolo lungu juwa che de denji de jeje ki ane de kasore nyebo de tendam yesa 현재 그 대화 대 동반이 무슨도 또 이시대 sibi kolo lungu juwa che digi 투모와 그 코아지지 그 주당진당 투모만 임바 코아지지 그 안에 자와 안에 니나 추반이 어디 다 셔거나.
So then this is in reference then to the way in which one eliminates the root of samsaric existence. And here then, within the context of the practice of Tantra, as we've mentioned previously, one actualizes that connate luminosity, and then that luminosity is characterized by great bliss. And taking emptiness as its object, it is able to cognize emptiness, first of all, indirectly and then directly. And when that gnosis of non-dual bliss and emptiness is actualized, then within the context of that gnosis, all of the dual appearances disappear. And so this verse then is addressing a sort of difference between the way in which one actualizes liberation via the sutra vehicle, the vehicle of the perfections in the case of the Bodhisattva Mahayana path. That is, in that approach, one understands emptiness directly but with a relatively coarse level of awareness or consciousness. And that is then, according to that system, one is able to eliminate the misapprehension of the self, which is the root of samsara, and one can achieve liberation, and according to that system can achieve Buddhahood through that approach. Now, in the Tantra, it works differently. In the mantra mantra system in that, again, one actualizes this mind of connate luminosity so as to use that as the cognizing subject. It is in turn characterized by great bliss, and the great bliss empowers that cognition to be able to understand the nature of reality in such a way that even the subtlest form of dual appearance disappears from that. And so that kind of a cognition is such that it's able to eliminate even the subtlest forms of the impediments to the actualization of perfect awakening. And so this verse is referring to that, where it says that it's without any obscuration, it's connate joy or connate bliss. And so the sport of that connate joy, which is devoid of obscuration, and which is indivisible with that connate joy, the Lord that pervades the entirety of all stable and moving things, referring again to the universe, the environment, as well as the inhabitants within the environment.
어디 토마타라 텐다베 아니 아라시도 비행기에서 사텔라 동바텔라 안 토마당 타미타당 자와 군도 삼보 텐담 생제에서나 아니 아니 텐제게 되어 또 명심도 비시 다 텔레송 거인 바리 와 인자 토마타라 군산 텐담지 아니 산주 성의 제라 소한데
So then it further says then that is devoid of its tomatara, without beginning or end. It is entirely good, and it is the ultimate bodhicitta. And here, this again is referring to that connate luminosity, which is characterized by great bliss, which is cognizing emptiness without any conceptualization or directly. So again, another way of describing the actual luminosity that cognizes emptiness without any kind of interference and without any obscuration. And so that is here described as, here we're addressing the Lama, the Guru, as you are that actual bodhicitta, ultimate bodhicitta, which is entirely good and beginningless and endless.
Oh yeah, that day 이제 그로도 뒤지 수타이가나 디 심지 세데 전동 찬축선으로 봐. 문제 찬축선 많이 받지. 어고서.
So then, to understand this, we have to talk about bodhicitta. Then there's two forms of bodhicitta. There's ultimate, phenomenal bodhicitta is the way I'm translating that. Often it's translated as conventional bodhicitta. I'm just using the word phenomenal in place of conventional there. And then ultimate bodhicitta, those two kinds of bodhicitta.
Oh yeah, that is 안에 부주선데 세야지 말해. 부주선데 아니 천이 라마 천이 이담 아니 자유라마라 란다 이와지 최대 아니 랑게 지도도 막 커대 커봐 면에 다 초신 네가서 초신 네위리 초신 마다 뒤니 아니 자유라마라 마 초신 탐지 뒤로 지당 아니 메두바 소신라 란다 니와 최대 아니 랑게 지오를 커대 매와 체식 이 체험이거든 다 가르잖아 제가 뭐 들어와 마디오한테 잖아 네 다 조신라 봐서와들 라마틱은 워싱 랑게 자위라마라 란다 니와지 체나 랑게 지수도 커버된 거지 워싱 그 주시체네 아니 천이 라마 천이 이담 천이 칸로 쳐준데 티네스데 찬주 봐도 천미 제시한 미소베 디담 봐도 천미 타야 투지 자지 순저라 시시지로 오로 구조 때이 tro서 발치 송세지 아니 다 부츠 써왔다베 티 말이
So then the next comes the request, which is like the term is like driving a dagger in, setting a stake is another way to translate that. And so here then, there are two ways of doing the visualization that goes along with this, and it doesn't make any difference which one does.
아니 자유라마양 아니 라마양 진짜 라마 자유라마 체라나이 이다면 체라나이 최종야 좀 이제 체라나이 천이라마 천이다 칸도야 체라나이 칸도 최종야 체라나이 제네다 부주서야 되라 천이라마 천이다 천이 칸도 최종데 아니 인자 대당 파도 대당 세대당 파도당 아니 제와 치마에 내가 탐제도 아니 투지자치 순주레스 대당 파도 치매당 투지자치 순주라 투지자치 순이 아니 스바코와다 시와 아니 멤베냥데라 내가 스시지발라 좋아 대당 파도 치매당 아니 가서 투지자치 순주 시시지조 스바당 지발라 좋대 아니 가서 땡중으로 자서 제일 다 쏘았다 하진 바래.
So this, the visualization that goes along with this has two forms. Again, you can use either one. The one way of doing the visualization is by having the assembly field return back into the central guru that you visualize in the center of the assembly field. Another way to do it is to visualize that a copy of the central guru splits off from the central guru and goes to the top of your head. In both cases, you're visualizing your guru, your root guru, at the top of your head. And then when you do the recitation that goes along with this particular prayer, which is addressing the guru, and it says that you are the guru, you are the deity, you are the dakini, you are the dharma protector. From now forward until awakening, I will not seek any other refuge apart from you. In this life and in the intermediate life, to the very end of the future, may you please hold me with the hooks of your compassion. Protect.
이담 글라서 이담 임바서 왔다 와그 아니 모두 초단 투몽 모두 쪼와당 아니 투지 자주 손절라서 시시 아니 군조라서 왔다베 아니 시시 지발라 쪼와당 아니 칸도 최종 임바 매회 아니 초제반 가세 아니 땡지 초제 아니 최종을 써왔다가 그 받쳤송아 다 마빈바시 자주를 됐더만 야
So then, here then, when it's addressing the guru, as you are guru, you are the deity, you are the dakinis, the dharma palas, dharma protectors. And so from now forward until I achieve awakening, because I will not seek any other protection or refuge apart from you, then, so this is saying, and then here and in the intermediate state as well, and then all the way to the end of the future. The end of the future here refers to, refers to this life, the remainder of this life, the intermediate state that will follow after this life, and then all of the lives that will proceed, that you'll continue through until you achieve a perfect awakening yourself. Up until that point, on all of the different occasions within that, then you're praying here that the Guru will hold you with the hooks of the Guru's compassion. And then it says, protect me from the fears of existence and peace. The fear of existence refers to samsara, the ordinary sufferings and so forth. And then the fear of peace refers to falling into the partial kind of nirvana, which is peace for oneself, but which prevents one from actively liberating others from samsara. So you pray to be free from that. And then you pray that please bestow all accomplishments upon me, the supreme and ordinary common kinds of accomplishments. And please be my eternal friend and protect me from any kind of interference, any kind of interruption in doing what I'm trying to accomplish. So when one's doing this, one thinks of the different aspects of the guru as a guru as such, guru as deity, guru as dakini, guru as dharmapala, dharma protector. And then you think that each of those is correlated with the various things that you're requesting throughout the course of the request here. That when you ask you're asking the guru to hold you with the hooks of his compassion. Then you are asking la gendi sishi tuchi chakyu
lame tuchi chaji somada ani idam ngo sawata wa ngo sada tumo ngo zawada sosum diyu ngo dawa inzang ani sibada shiwi chibala zawada.
So then when you ask for protection from the fears of existence and peace, that's addressing the guru as the combination of all three Buddha Dharma Sangha jewels. And then when you're requesting you're requesting to have bestowed upon you all attainments, that's addressing the guru in the aspect of the deity, and then So then when you're addressing the guru in the aspect of the dakini, you ask for him or her to be your eternal friend. And then when you're asking the guru in the aspect of the Dharma protectors, you ask the guru to protect you, guard you from any kind of interruptions or interferences.
Oh, that's one. No. Oh, yeah. Jenny Lama, Jenny, Jenny Kano Churchill, Sinas and Chanjim, did about the Chimita, Tuji judges, Sisi, Mudu, Kunza, Danji, Troja, Pachas, that Lansum saw Tavala Dana, and you want to chill out with Mubachi, but it done. Teta Lanso saw that 2 years. And the Lamu Kusun to Nanamle. Disease, Rama Tunsan Tengasun, Rimda Jijachuna, Danyaji, Nezo Rimda Jija Tembale, Dushita, Washington, Ushitoji, Lama, Niwashi, Jajiti, Chijilawa, Jurusi, Chegala, or that Tigi, that Washi Chirakumabachi.
Then next comes the you're imagining and visualizing and requesting the blessings, the empowerments of the 4 initiations. And so the verse, next verse after the, once you've done the actual request for all of the things in the previous verse, then you do that 3 times. And it says then by the force of requesting that 3 times, you, from the body, speech, and mind, the sights of the body, speech, and mind of the guru. Here the sights refer again to the syllables Om Ahung at the forehead, heart, throat, and heart of the guru. And from those 3 sights come light rays of the nectar of immortality in 3 different color forms.
Let me give you omelette disease, a couple of two. Ani ranga churutim, Pumbewanto, Ani Luigi Tomata, Ani Castle, Devutugu Trupin, Vashayache. 是吧？
Well, so if we do this individually, if we think of, you think that from the Om, the white Om at the forehead of the Guru, light rays of the nectar of immortality flow out, and they descend through the top of your head, come down into your body and purify you of obscurations and negativities that you performed. This purifies especially your body, and it functions as the vase initiation, and it empowers you then to actualize the Nirmanakaya.
아니 라미 준비 안에 디지에서 마보트 아니 랑게 템바팀 아니 토면에 사회 직집지다 토만 차바도 안 하게 거나 사회 템바타 아니 상황 지납도 주비 지납 지수도 톱 아니 대우 lon지 롱고 주바군요 마샤에.
Then from the Guru's throat, the red letter the light rays, the nectar, which are the nectar of immortality in form of red light, flow out, and that comes into your throat, and it purifies all of the obscurations and the negative actions that you performed, especially with regard to speech. And this then functions to give you the blessings of the secret initiation, and that empowering blessings of the secret initiation. And that in turn gives you the capacity, places within you the potential to be able to actualize the Sambhogakaya.
Oh yeah, this one. Oh, then it la me took you home at this is one bottle. Ani ranking in Garatum. Ani Timaganga, Toman and Savit, the Chidang, Chavadu, Yijukwana Savit, the Pacha Chavachang. She wants to love you to talk. So
then the next you visualize from the heart of the Guru, the blue letter Hung, at the heart of the Guru. From that blue light comes out, which is the nectar of immortality again, in the form of light, and that flows into your heart, and it purifies you of obscurations and negative actions that you performed, especially those that pertain to mental activity, the actions of your mental actions you performed, and that then bestows upon you gives you the empowering blessings of the wisdom gnosis initiation, and that establishes within you the potential or ability to actualize the Dharmakaya.
Oh, that's it. 아니 가서 고som 현주도 제외 처마장아 대라 아니 라면 고som 순간에 이거 순간에 되지 해서 까마tin 좀 쳐 직자도 랑게네 숨도 틈 아니 링아 연서 현지도 사회 아니 되게 바자다 자와탕 그래서 처마 강하잖아 링아 연서 현지 틈 되게 바자다 자와탕 아니 와시와 처왕 그 완전 아니 손주 두바기니 와샤야.
So then you visualize that from all three sites, all three syllables in the Guru, the Om Ah Hung, the white Om, red Ah, and blue Hung at the forehead, throat, and heart of the Guru, that simultaneously from all three of those, all three forms of the nectar of immortality in the form of those multicolored lights, they flow out again simultaneously and enter into those sites within your body, the head and throat and heart. And those purify collectively then all of the negative actions that you perform with your body, speech, and mind, as well as the propensities or obscurations that have been left by those actions that you performed with body, speech, and mind. And those simultaneously purifies you of all of those. and then that likewise bestows upon you the empowering blessings of the fourth word initiation, and that also establishes within you the ability to actualize the Swabhavika Kaya, the essential body of Buddhahood. Sungchuk. Oh, Gunda. Yeah, I'm sorry. Actually, it establishes within you the ability to actualize the state of integration.
Oh yeah, that is the I take the matter. Do not to go it. Right? One sheet of color. I saw no done to go it. Then let me go to the general. This is a gamma tinkersum. Rimda Jijajuna, Daniji, Nezu Rimda Jija Timbale, Dripsi Tajin, I'm that one she toes. I know Gushi Topi, Gushi Tommy. Then I need to Lama Laranda, you are a Chenya, other Timbakam, I check.
So then, just to go through the words of the verse here, it says that from the sights of the body, speech, and mind of the Guru, again, referring to those three parts of the Guru's body, that you're visualizing, again, the Guru on the top of your head. And so therefore, from those three sights, the white, red, and dark blue colored light rays, which are the nectar of immortality, they flow, they come down, and they come down initially sequentially, and then subsequently simultaneously, and they dissolve into the three sights of myself. That is, and again, this happens initially sequentially and then simultaneously in the fourth case, and that purifies one of the four kinds of obscurations. One obtains the four pure initiations, and one also obtains the four kayas, and then when that has happened, then a replica or another form of the Guru descends into you, and does so. You visualize that the Guru is delighted to do this, and by descending into one, empowers one and blesses one.
Oh yeah. Then that the para de la young on she chilla two more money but today. Danjugo coach
Then if one has completed the service to the deity, this is sometimes translated as approximation or something like that. Service to the deity through the retreat and so forth, then one is authorized to enter into the mandala oneself. And one can, the way we've discussed it so far is sort of a general way of doing it. But if one has then completed that service to the deity and they completed the recitations and so forth, and is authorized to enter the mandala oneself, one can do that and then take the four initiations in that way as it's described in that kind of practice.
Oh yeah, that day that's my Tama. Ani lam yonzo la shakum dan jibi kwane ani chila punshuki so adabati timbari wa and that did that the carsore shinjo tabane sunde mata dusmacho lam yonzo la shakum chia tiongore.
Then after one has done that, then one does a meditation in which one reviews all of the various stages of the path as it's given in the following verses down through the next section.
Oh yeah, that Toma, any Lamjata was in a tempest in Bainzang, and then tempest the tenant lodge that I remember Ni Benane, and Lamjata was in a tempest Sugana, and a senior temple pie and Gedang, Madame being a me get, then you lobby a me get, until the ma some chair. And a senior dental lot of my get, they didn't go on any Sabbath dental that you had dental Ni Benane. Ani Sabbath and the Sawa Tapajang down, and you're cutting Jesus Tava, and he needs my son of Danche. No, the nature at the end of the day, Twinsan Green and Gatsieri, or to stay Gana, Shimogache, 신조 담바 지진 아마라 최종 교회 소화다위 뒤세 다예게 라마 초직신도 아니 가서의 젠단에 최바부와당 아니 소화다와라 소화다위 아니 뒤 지진 아마라 최종 교회 델레사와 공부 체니지 아니 예수 아니 예수 좀 받치지로 세가나 아니 신이 수신도 땜배 아니 신이 담바 예수 좀 받기 아니 손지체
Then next comes the first part of the reviewing the stages of the path begins with the root of the path, which is serving and relying upon a virtuous friend. Here one should, if one's able to, one should reflect upon the various ways in which this is explained. That is, again, one has to understand that the serving and relying upon a spiritual friend, a virtuous friend, is the root of the path. There are 8 benefits of doing this. There are 8 negative consequences that come about from not relying on this proper spiritual friend properly. Then there's, in addition, the ways of doing this in a kind of perverse fashion, the opposite of the correct way to do it, 8 ways categorized in that way. And then, so once one has thought about those, then in addition to this, there are, we have to think about how it is that we rely and serve a spiritual friend through our thoughts and then our actions, the way, and so you think about the different topics that are explained within the stages of the path on that, and then in the course of in between meditation sessions as well, during the break periods between the formal sessions of meditation on this. Then one should do that kind of reflection also and practice of the proper way of serving and relying on a spiritual friend.
Oh yeah, tene. That ne lo chita jong yue ren ba te la. Ani da ju chung wu dang, tu mo la lo jiang wa da, 真的 tu mo la lo jiang wa. Ani ju chen bu la lo jiang wa yong dong gu yo wa yin zang. Da ju chung wu da tu mo la lo jiang wa te. De la ani tan jo tuan jian ye ga, qi wa mi da ba san ba. Ngan du nga san ba. Ani gun jo sum la jiam su jiam zhuo che che. Da la ma qi bi gang la lian de san ba de, ju zhen la ma jia ge de. Ju chung la ya jia ge ma de. Lam zhe na xi che che. Yin zang da tang bo ju chung o ki ani ngan du te xian ba de la. Lian ji zam xi nie bi tan zhuo di. Nie ga niu du ji bi cuo duo ne. 天美切的菜嘛也把天天你不来把亲戚老是个啦，他不谈就我送啊，天天天吃哇三把，天天你给我三把是个啦，我自己讲啦，你谈就我送啊，我在电上头嘛打钱，你没跟我觉得这个谈就我送啊，我在电钱，老把打我真谈就去电钱。 等团下话下把的那个了的话团下话的，他都来等那团下话，个就嘛的人群的团下话上面上了马当。你提起了，你也把搞话是了，像旅游过呢也把搞话当，你这边过呢也搞话搞话的，北游过呢也搞话啦，说话上了大年，那些这么些年比谈学的也搞是一个啦，我谈这个啦，谈这团下话的也把搞话什么，等。 가서 대인지 삼발라 때네 아니 님벌랜데 단주 텐샤와 삼바기 삼 텐샤와 삼베가나 아니 다윗다나 님벌랜데 지고 와와 와 대진이 님벌랜데 지 태안더니 체들라 마 연구와데 아니 티제라 치고합니다 바사바데 렌지 삼신에 단주디 니가 뉴드지비 수도네 세가나 뉴드지 바라가나 아니 치와 체비 파연다 마데비 님이 俺去我前主我啦，我去我，那么这两个我没把去去这样看给他没办法太了，去我雇主马3年，我等你到我参学堂，俺你搞什么？俺去结束样，俺他叫我没得吧，叫我2个人，叫我练了，俺叫我了，俺就在等着你练马的吧，俺就在那俺上个东啊，把都没把娘给我的，因为。 아니 다 안성그 동아라 지신 짠네 아니 텔레교는 라마 군조스나 여봐 이체바기 아니 잠도 거야 인자 아니 잠도 되라 가소래 저 용어에서 와서 사람 마주서 맞고 다 리리리 삼도 동안 템미나 다 되는 마찬이 샤공 수도 거면이상 내세 잠시니에 단조디 내가 뉴도 집이 추되네 되면 세대 제가 많이 봐 아니 된다 인불량 봐 지용하쇼 서 만다라 제와치만 온들리된 람주베 때 단조게 대사 토바 아니 되네 아니 타바더니 주나 안에 다 탐지시고 가만 텐데기다 영화지 소화되바더라 렌시 잠시니에 단조대 내가 니도 집이 추되네 되면 세대 제가 많이 봐 된다 인불량 봐 친지로 세가게 So
then the verse that we just previously went over says that I didn't translate that verse that Rinpoche taught. So it says here, I make requests, please bless me. Then it's addressing here the supreme field of merit, the noble Reverend Lama. Who by making worshiping and respectfully requesting you by the force of that, may we please empower and bless me to be nurtured and taken care of by you, with delight. You who are my protector and the root of all happiness and good. Here this happiness and good refers to both the temporary things that one achieves during the course of like samsaric existence or one's regular life, as well as the ultimate kinds of happiness and good of liberation and awakening and so forth. So that was that verse. Then the next verse enters into you do a reflective meditation on the stages of the path as they pertain to the person of lesser scope. And in that case, here in this context of this particular practice, one doesn't examine karma. Karma is included within the topic that follows, that is the person of intermediate scope. So one begins by thinking about all of the topics that are found within the stages of the path of the person of lesser scope, and particularly examining the topics of the preciousness of the human life that you've achieved, this moment of opportunity. And then also one has to develop fear of the lower realms of existence. So, and develop, based upon that fear, likewise going for refuge to the three precious jewels. So the verse here then says that this moment of opportunity, or it's literally a leisure and fortune. Leisure here refers to being free from the conditions that would prevent you from being able to practice, and fortune refers to all of the different conditions that are enumerated that enable one to be able to practice. So the combination of those of being free from things that would completely prevent you from being able to practice, such as being reborn as in the lower realms of existence, or as a long life God, or in a place where there's no dharma and so forth. And then all of the different endowments that we have in order to be able to practice. And these are listed in detail in the stages of the path text. If one's able to review those as one goes along, that's excellent. If not, one can do the sort of brief just reflection upon all of these topics as one goes along. So to elaborate a little bit, we've achieved this moment of opportunity just once, right now. That is, when you think about the opportunity that you have right now in this human life, you shouldn't think about it that, oh, I'll get this again in my next life, so I don't have to try too hard right now. Rather, you should think that you've got this opportunity at this very moment, and you're going to die quite soon. And that's sort of the next part of this meditation, that you think about all of the different aspects of death. As soon as you're born, it's determined that one is going to die. And once one has achieved, we don't know when that's going to happen. That is, right now, whatever age we are, we may think, oh, I've got a lot of time left. I could be here for years and years. But if you stop and think about it, actually, that's not the case. It's quite possible that we won't be here tomorrow. There's no certainty about that. So first of all, one meditates on the fact that death is definite, that the fact of death, as soon as one takes birth, one knows that one will die. And then the time of death is indefinite. When we don't know when we're going to die. It could be tomorrow, not even tomorrow, tonight. We're not certain of that, absolutely. So we have to reflect upon that. There are multiple ways of discussing this, 9 different points, but just briefly, if we think about how death is definite and the time of death is indefinite, and then likewise that when we die, nothing at all will be of any value to us, whatever kind of property, fame, things that we've acquired, all of that, it will just leave it behind. And even friends, family, and such, they can't help you when you're dying. So thinking about that carefully, what is it that's the only thing that will be of any use to us when we die is whatever Dharma practice we've done between now and that point. So that sort of meditation is designed to induce in us a strong kind of motivation to be able to engage in the practice of the entirety of the path. So that's included within that line here. It says, this moment of opportunity is difficult to obtain. That point points out that although we take it for granted that we're born as human now, and therefore that's just the way it is, but actually if we think about how hard it is to be born as a human in general, and then on top of that, what is addition to that, encountering the Dharma, if we consider the rarity of the Dharma in the world, and the rarity of being reborn as a human in the first place, and then the rarity of the Dharma within the world, then we can really consider the difficulty that we have in finding the kind of opportunity we've gotten now. And then we think about that and the way this will disintegrate very quickly. Which says here will disintegrate very quickly. Having understood that, without being distracted by the meaningless activities of this life, here that again refers to the fact that the activities that are strictly solely concerned with this life are ultimately meaningless in the face of death. When we die, all of whatever we've done this life, other than good karma that we've created and Dharma practice that we've done, all of the other activities are of no significance whatsoever. So we think about that. So not being distracted by meaningless activities of this life. Please bless me to take the essence of that which is meaningful. The last line there is the ultimate thing that one is requesting from the Guru to bless you to be able to take the meaning out of this life.
Oh yeah, that's all it is. Ngason dungap ta ju chung gi lam we de ka sa ngason dungap ba yu me che ne ani ngason gu dunga la ji xin zhan ne de le ju bi ni ba la ma gu ne gu jo song la ye ba yi chi bi guan ne ani gu jo song la so be jap si jam do che tang ani di je na ani jam du lab ja de la ani jam du ji dang so de ani ka so de 게디기라라 방랑 출신도 시에디 인바인장 아니 가서 동안 바위 매제네 니네 꾸조섬라 잡조신 디봉게서 타다 줘봐라 서 게디기라 디봉게서 타다 디바 뽕하다 개원 줘봐라 알람도 수신도 시에바지 영화쇼 제가나더니 어서왔다바당 아니다 디 주충이 텔라마라선 저 꾸유시라 주진앙을 써다 잡이 주인법 란샤 섬제템제 리숨라 시와 토면에 사베 디디지당 체바디야 안에 주우충을 또바트 제제와라 안에 파두집이 안에 디바탑제 암벽과다 파고 수가 소소는 마 템바당 안 또바 체바지 치와 제바기 안에 니단도 체와기 미든지 사와다 튠저 주바기 미바 안에 다 디마지 강가리 셰레.
So then when we do these requests, we're requesting blessings here with a kind of fervent, intense emotion. And when we do that request, and at the end of it, then we visualize that from the Guru who's upon the top of our heads, that the light rays again flow down, and the nectar of immortality in the form of these light rays flow down and fill up our bodies, and they expel from the pores of our bodies, sort of like the light ray nectar fills up the entirety of our body and pushes out all of the negative actions we performed and the obscurations that remain from those negative actions. And we correlate that with the individual aspect of the stages of the path that we're meditating upon within that particular verse. So in the first verse, then it has to do with relying on the virtuous friend, here it has to do with, in the first verse, relying on the virtuous friend. Then the second verse, thinking about the moment of opportunity that we've gotten, leisure and fortune to practice, and being blessed to take the essence of make meaning out of one's life without being distracted by those sorts of things. When you say, please bless me that way, then you think that you've gotten that blessing. And then the next verse says, out of having fear of the blazing fire of the suffering of the three lower realms, from my heart I go for refuge to the three most precious ones, the three jewels. From my heart I take refuge in the three most precious ones. And please bless me to be able to practice with great effort, with fervent sort of effort, to be able to practice the entirety of getting rid of all negative actions and accomplishing all virtue. So here too, one does the same kind of visualization, and here in order to go, as we mentioned, in order to go for refuge, one has to have fear at the most basic level. For the person of lesser scope, one has to have fear of the sufferings of the lower realms of existence, hell, hungry ghosts, animals, so that fear is, and faith in the three jewels to be able to provide that refuge are the motive forces that create refuge. And so thinking about the blazing fires of the sufferings of the lower realms, and then from your heart, you go for refuge to the three precious jewels. So that's the initial part of it. Then once one has taken refuge, there are precepts that go along with it. And the basic level of the precepts as they pertain to the person of lesser scope are getting rid of negative actions, especially the negative actions of the 10 non-virtuous actions, abandoning those, and accomplishing all of the different forms of virtuous actions. Here, this would be things like performing acts of generosity and observing, and then also observing one's ethical discipline properly, those to accomplish those. And so then you beseech the Guru to bless you to be able to have intense fervor in making effort to do those things, getting rid of the negative and accomplishing the positive. And then you do the same visualization as before, thinking that when the light rays that are the form of the nectar of immortality flow into your body, that all of the negative actions that you've done in the past, especially with regard to going for refuge, and are purified, and that you're empowered then to be able to have pure refuge, and to also to do the precepts of refuge, which is getting rid of negative behavior, negative actions, and accomplishing virtue.
Oh yeah, that 되게 안에 주 총무 기당 투모벨라라 로전에 되게다 메바트 투예체. 다 되네 주 전나 투모벨라라 로야전에 되라. 안에 다 남주 주 전기 사제라 지가라 타바트니 로제바다 타바트베 남지랑 시대라 바바니 사제 타바니 연구하래. 타바트니 로제바 세대다디 책티 된 거 아니지래. 레다냐면 발로 차투투. 동아숨지 추신만배제 타면지로 신조전보라 안에 탄제 슈라제와 친지로 세대게 안타바트니 걸로 제바. 레다냐면 발로 차투투 세대된다. 가서래 당신 말이 벽구나 라한데 안에 소나다 마인벨 탐 미남바 소나다 마인벨 다 안에 미오빌레소 레사발라 때네 레다니만 발 레사발라 때네 안에 사전예len지 풍부들래 Ritu Kangi, Dendro Jena, Dendro Penner, Dandrigana, Dendri, Anne, Lamili, then Pumbo de Lane. Pumbo de Lane, Chijala, Anne Dungaji Rashina Medeba. Let anyone ballon tattoo to Dunga Suji, Chisum, Mambice, Secret, Anne Dungaji Dunga, Gui Dunga, Kawaduji Dunga, Sumji, Anne, or Bear, Narwa. Temase Gawata, Gawata, Nawata, Chiwala Sowaki, Anne Dungaki Tsewa. That Teman Bain Bagi, Anne, or Tikadula, Larigan Kanasavikana, Anne, Neome Bala Soviet Dungadang. Anne, that is a Mabakanga, some Chokari. In the Ladanyama Balon subject to Dungasumji, Chisum Mambice. Tamilji Run Sizo Chimbola, Serikana Tameba. Such a Nileji Pumbo de Anu Kuala Tameba said the town. Tame said the Ya Toma Mebana Tandachi Tati Padula gave one the Indijini Chumak so the Tameba. Tame said Tameta said Ania or Nyambutoji Kuanga between the Tameta Yori. Or there is a Tamiji Run Sizo Chimbole said that Dungai. Sizo Chambo says, Koa Dungaji Jaso said, such a Nilage Pumputella, Skojumandi Amari. Dunga Jaso de la Ta, Nabakundu, Yemede, Susan Asichani, or Tenderby, Annie, such a Nilage Pumputella, Annie, Ditchlin, Chijala, Dungaji Rashin, and Meba Yeza, and a dilettante logic Gova Yeza, Ledanim, Ballon Tadu, Dungasumji, Susan Mambi, Tamilji Sizo Chambola, Tande Shuraja Chinji Lo, Serigala, Tabatini Lojeva to say.
So that concludes the review of the stages of the path of the person of a lesser scope. And then again, when one does it in the course of these verses, to the extent that one's able to think about all of the subdivisions and details of this is excellent. One can do it in a more abbreviated fashion or in a more extensive fashion according to one's intention. So then next comes the person of intermediate scope, the way, first of all, we have to develop the attitude which wishes to achieve liberation, that thought. And this next verse describes that. So it says that, and the metaphor here is the ocean being filled with fierce sea creatures. So it says that this ocean of existence here is completely stirred up by fierce waves and currents of the karma and mental afflictions. So karma and mental affliction here refers then to the principal causes of samsara. That is, the primary mental affliction is the misconception of the self. And that misconception of the self, again, serves as the root of all of the other mental afflictions that arise out of it. And then likewise, from those mental afflictions, then we create various kinds of actions. We can create virtuous actions, non-virtuous actions. We can create karma, which is fixed in its outcome, such that it produces rebirth in the higher realms of existence. So in any case, through the creation of karma motivated by the mental afflictions, we produce virtuous action that produces good results either in the upper realms of existence or in that way, rebirth and positive kind of experience within the upper realms of existence. We produce non-virtuous actions which produce rebirth in the lower realms of existence, suffering there, as well as suffering even in the upper realms of existence coming out of non-virtuous action. And then there's the fixed, sort of unmovable sort of karma, such as developing special kinds of meditative concentration that impel one to be reborn in the non-physical and the physical and non-physical realms of meditative absorption. So all those karmas, in effect, the root cause here, the misconception of the self, and that serves as the root cause that causes us to engage in different kinds of karma. And then that karma causes us to take up the contaminated aggregates. the aggregates are taken up in such a way that they're contaminated as long as one is in a state of samsaric existence. So as soon as one takes up some contaminated aggregates, then it's determined that one is going to suffer. It's fixed at that moment. The contaminated aggregates are subject to all of the different kinds of suffering, the gross, ordinary forms of suffering, the suffering of transformation of happiness into misery, and then the pervasive suffering of just being created by karma and mental affliction. So as soon as one takes up the contaminated aggregates, one is inevitably going to have to suffer for the rest of that life. And so therefore it says then that this ocean of existence when one's in the ocean of existence, one is tormented by multiple sort of sea monsters, or here this refers to all kinds of terrifying animals that exist within the sea, of the three kinds of suffering, the three that were just mentioned. And this ocean of existence is suitable, it's fearful, literally is something that one ought to be frightened of, and it's also limitless. Here where it says limitless, we have to qualify that because it is the case that samsara has no beginning limit. There was no first point at which it commenced, and therefore, in that sense, it has no limit at all. We've been in these contaminated aggregates, wandering in the ocean of samsaric existence without any beginning, so it has no beginning in that way. But it is the case that there's at least there's a potential into it if we enter into the path and achieve liberation from samsaric existence. So you have to qualify the limitless term there in that sense. And then the end of this verse says, please bless me to be able to give rise with great force, the desire to achieve liberation.
Oh yeah, 되게다 가서래 두된 코위 예미 삼바 세야지 연구하래. 두된 예미 삼라 마변나 타바 되니걸로 미게 소아나 신체네. 내가 사자니를 품보데 동아지 라신도 통네. 아니 사동아지 라신도 통도 제가 아니 동아라 미데 로제바 춘이 바 코나 제가 거와 이자 두된 삼배고네 아니 코알라 샬로 나마지 마제나 아니 타바트니 책장도 만도 연구가 많이다 라리처모나라 두된 삼배고네 코알라 샬로 나마지 메제나 타바트니 전예지로 책장도 집에 아니 차와 강한 체자 아니 꾸준히 로그를 두된 계시 줄에 로그를 송도와
두된래
두된 삼배고네 코이 코알라 샬로 나마지 제고래
So therefore, here this last line says, please bless me to give rise to fierce desire for liberation. This is just as is explained in the great stages of the path to awakening. There, J. Rinpoche has said that if you don't have this intense, first of all, understanding of samsara, you have to understand, here has to do with basically understanding the first truth of the Four Noble Truths, the truth of suffering. One has to understand how the truth of suffering is the fact of the contaminated aggregates which you've taken up through the force of karma and mental affliction. Those contaminated aggregates, again, are the truth of suffering. And as long as one has taken those up, one is subject to all of the different kinds of suffering, of ordinary gross suffering and so forth. And so unless one understands that properly, and then based on that recognition, develops a kind of recognition of the contaminated aggregates as being suffering, then you won't develop an authentic form of the wish for liberation. Here, the wish for liberation is based on recognition of the contaminated aggregates as being completely of the nature of suffering. That is, and without seeing them as suffering, there's no way to produce an authentic form of the desire for freedom from suffering. You might have a kind of wish to be free from temporary kinds of suffering and such unpleasant things, but that is not what is indicated here by this desire for liberation. Desire for liberation, again, as Gelug said, is again based from this first recognition of the suffering character of the contaminated aggregates. And then once one has that, sees them as suffering, this causes one to no longer view them as attractive and desirable, something to be attached to. But and without that, natural, authentic attitude of renunciation, then talking about renunciation and the desire to become free from samsara comes down to nothing but mere words.
Oh yeah, dona kamsum jowa reju kando jeyang saje nire ji phombo de len shinje la ane donga jerang shinle made ba yenda ane saje nire ji phombo de la tarbi ane tanjo ge lo jewa jema ma yin ba ji jewa chinji lo nyamju ane so wa de wa dang ane ya de ba chan che de che right.
So then basically in brief, you think the way to think about this in brief is that as soon as I've taken up these contaminated aggregates, I'm pervaded with this nature of suffering. I am of the nature of suffering as long as have taken up these aggregates. And then once you have that recognition and an intense wish to be free from that suffering condition, then and it has to occur such that it's not something contrived where you're simply kind of developing it in some kind of artificial fashion, but rather it has to be a sort of sense of revulsion towards this suffering condition that you're in from your very heart. Then that is the actual wish for the thought, which wishes for a liberation. And then once you have that, then you do the visualization as described previously, the descent of the nectar in the form of light through your body.
Oh yeah, that's Dagi Chine Save Gawadi, Tendon Joa Kunakam, Chaba Juzan, Losan Jaba, Yetemian Borin, Saji Joa Sashi, Beji Jujim, Lodan, Ide Jambadi, Sanjay Shinto, Medibu, Program Dashin, Lachiba, Sho, Yedon, Guru, Nakani Atayami.
Journey